What happened?
Cause y'all negative. On my mama, y'all talking about Lil Poppa on my mama. Like, I'm not even playing on my mama.
They been negative.
Oh my God, no,
What?
no, serious. No, oh my God. Oh my.
Poppa, born Janarius Wheeler, has died at the age of 25.
Yo, fam, lock in for a second. You need to hear this. What I'm about to break down today hits on a whole different level, no exaggeration. We're talking about a 25-year-old rising star signed to CMG with momentum on his side and genuinely changing lives through his music. But on February 18, 2026, Jacksonville lost one of its realest voices, and hip-hop lost someone truly special. This is how the culture reacted to Lil Poppa's passing. And trust me, some of these reactions are gonna sit heavy with you. So if you're rocking with me, go ahead and hit that like button, because we're diving deep, and this story might change how you check on your people. Now hold up. Before we get into the reactions, we have to talk about what Lil Poppa was battling mentally, because this part matters more than people realize. If you look at his social media activity in the weeks before he passed, the warning signs were right there, no sugarcoating it. On Twitter, he shared messages that revealed he was in a very dark place emotionally. He wrote things like, "I'm scared to go to sleep and I'm lonely, bro." And he even questioned whether it was okay to cry. Those aren't random posts. That's someone quietly asking for help. He also shared, "I never asked for any of this. I cried all my tears in the dark, and all I have left is pain." What really shook people was when he tweeted, "I don't really like me, and forgive me, Father, for the devil's tricks." You can see the emotional battle he was fighting, and honestly, it's devastating to witness in hindsight. But listen to this, because it gets even deeper. He also posted, "I thought they were loyal, but the jewelry made them judge me, and this time I'll do better." That tells you he was struggling with trust and feeling like success changed the people around him. That's a reality many artists face when they rise from nothing to fame. He also wrote, "Word of the day is distance. I love y'all, but forget y'all." That's the emotional tug of war that depression creates. Loving people deeply, but still pushing them away because trust feels broken. Another tweet that stood out read, "The first mind is right every time. Trust no one." This young king felt paranoid, like he couldn't rely on anyone around him. When isolation and mental health struggles collide, that fear only grows stronger. But here's the part that really makes you pause. He was battling depression while navigating Jacksonville, one of the most dangerous cities in the country. He grew up splitting time between his mom's home on the east side and his grandmother's place on the west side. He also lived with a chronic blood disorder that sometimes forced him indoors, likely intensifying his emotional struggles. The pressure of being signed to CMG, expectations from the streets, and personal battles were all weighing heavily on him. In one tweet, he said, "I got 2 albums left before I pack my stuff and leave the label." That shows he felt stuck. He believed he had to keep creating even when he wasn't mentally strong enough. What makes it even sadder is he also posted, "I need a house somewhere in the DMV and can't wait till January 1st so y'all can see the real me." He was trying to picture a better future, planning a fresh start away from Jacksonville. But mentally, he couldn't fully see that future. Now, let's talk about his mother's reaction, because this part is truly emotional. For real, she was live streaming when viewers flooded the comments saying he had passed. At first, she refused to believe it. She kept saying, "Y'all lying, don't play like that. What are you talking about?" She repeated, "What do you mean? What are y'all saying?" But as confirmation kept coming in, you could see her expression shift instantly. Reality hit her all at once. She broke down immediately. She started screaming, "Oh my God, no, 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 this can't be real. Oh my God, oh my God."
Oh my God, no, serious.
You could hear it in her tone instantly, fam. This wasn't some routine reaction to trending headlines. This was a woman genuinely hurting over Lil Poppa on a personal level. And listen to this. What made it even deeper was the authentic connection Pluto and Lil Poppa actually had. They had worked together before, and she never missed a chance to show love to his records. In past interviews, she openly praised his skill and talked about the future she believed he had. So the moment she found out he was gone, the weight of it hit her fast and heavy. You can literally see her shift from shock to heartbreak in a matter of seconds. That kind of pain doesn't come from losing an industry peer. It comes from losing someone close. Another thing that stands out is how raw Pluto's reaction truly was. She wasn't putting on a show or trying to create a viral moment. What you saw was real grief, completely unfiltered, from someone mourning a friend. And that authenticity is exactly why the clip spread everywhere online and struck such a nerve. After the reality settled in, you could watch Pluto trying to steady herself, but the hurt was still written all over her face. She was probably replaying studio sessions with Poppa, shared laughs, or times he showed her genuine support. All of those memories seemed to crash down on her in real time. While Pluto expressed her sorrow live, Boosie Badass paid tribute to Lil Poppa in a different but equally powerful way, proving how respected he was throughout the South. Boosie is a Louisiana legend who survived years in the industry and seen it all firsthand. When he talks, the culture listens. So when Boosie uploaded that heartfelt tribute video, you could tell it came straight from the heart. In the clip, he said, "Tip thug in peace, Lil Poppa, Duval legend." For those who don't know, tip means thug in peace instead of the usual R.I.P. That phrase alone shows Boosie viewed Poppa as someone who lived that life while pushing through music to rise above it. And calling him a Duval legend carries serious weight coming from Boosie. Jacksonville is known as Duval. For an out-of-state artist like Boosie to crown Poppa a legend speaks volumes about the respect he earned. What really hits is that Boosie has always been transparent about mental health and the pressures young rappers deal with. He's talked about his own battles with depression and how the industry can grind artists down mentally. So his tribute wasn't just about tracks and talent. It was an acknowledgement of a young man fighting struggles he personally understood. The fact that Boosie took the time to film a full tribute instead of posting a quick caption shows how deeply Lil Poppa's passing shook the broader hip-hop world, not just Jacksonville. He could have typed a few words and moved on, but he chose to speak because the respect was genuine. Boosie also pointed out in other posts how talented Lil Poppa was and how he stood apart from many young rappers because he actually had substance. Coming from someone with Boosie's resume, that kind of praise carries major credibility. It shows the OGs saw his potential and truly wanted him to win. But hold up, things shifted when NBA Ben 10 responded because his reaction sparked serious controversy online. NBA Ben 10, known as a close affiliate of NBA Youngboy, posted something on Instagram that many interpreted as disrespect toward Lil Poppa. He wrote that Poppa should have taken his girl with him since she loved him so much. On the surface, it looked like a cold remark about Poppa's death. But if you look closer, Ben 10 was really venting about how much his girlfriend admired Lil Poppa's music. Apparently, Ben 10's girlfriend was a huge Lil Poppa fan. She likely kept his songs on repeat, constantly hyped his talent, and maybe even had that classic fan crush people develop for artists they look up to. Ben clearly wasn't comfortable with how much his girl seemed invested in another man, even if it was strictly fandom. So when Poppa passed, his comment reflected insecurity and jealousy more than direct disrespect. He was basically implying that her grief made it seem like she wanted to follow Poppa, but the way he phrased it sounded harsh, especially coming right after tragic news. The streets wasted no time reacting, and Ben 10 caught heavy backlash from Lil Poppa's supporters in Jacksonville. That response alone shows how deeply Lil Poppa's music connected, especially with women. His melodic style and emotional storytelling resonated with female fans in a way that felt personal. That vulnerability built strong emotional bonds, and Ben 10's girlfriend was likely just one of many who felt that connection. The outrage over his statement also shows how protective people were of Lil Poppa's name. Even a badly worded comment was treated as disrespect because the love for him ran that deep. The culture wasn't about to let anyone speak loosely about him, intentional or not. Now listen to this. Let's get into Lil Duval's response. Girl, his response was one of the most heartfelt and revealing,
really showing how tight Jacksonville stands together. Lil Duval is a comedian and proud Jacksonville representative who's carried his city for years. When he speaks in Jacksonville, people tune in because he's experienced its triumphs and struggles. So when he posted that lengthy message about Lil Poppa, the sincerity was undeniable. His full Twitter tribute carried heavy emotion. He made it clear that the loss hurt because he genuinely cared about Lil Poppa. He explained that many people in Jacksonville had known Poppa since he was young and were cheering him on because he was right on the verge of breaking through. You could feel the authentic love in every word. Duval witnessed Poppa's growth in the city, saw him evolve as an artist, and truly believed in the path he was carving.
That's genuine hometown love, not industry chess moves. Then Duval dropped a heavy truth, saying that after the drill scene losses, Poppa was the one still standing and deserving of success because he represented what so many young Jacksonville rappers wanted to become. He even pointed out that some of Poppa's enemies were fans before anything else. Listen to this. That statement isn't light at all. Duval was breaking down how, after the chaos and tragedies in Jacksonville's drill wave, after artists like Fio were lost and others disappeared, Lil Poppa was still here, pushing forward. He survived the storm and was inches away from leveling up in a major way. The fact that even rivals admired him says everything. That's street-level perspective you can't fake. Duval was saying that even those who had issues with Poppa still respected his pen and presence. They might have had tension off the mic, but they couldn't deny the gift. The most painful part came when Duval revealed they had talked just weeks before everything happened. He explained that Poppa told him he planned to slide through Camp Duval once he cleared his schedule, and Duval told him there was no pressure. That small detail makes it hit even harder. Poppa had real plans to link up with Duval, maybe build, maybe create, maybe just vibe about their city. Now that link up will never happen. Duval's message really painted the full picture of who Lil Poppa was to Jacksonville, a young leader who endured tough conditions, earned real respect, and was preparing to lift his city higher before his journey was cut short. Another major factor is that Duval's words came from someone deeply embedded in Jacksonville culture with long-term success in entertainment. Duval has watched countless artists come and go, yet he saw something different in Lil Poppa. That type of cosign carries influence. And before we go further, make sure you stay locked in as we unpack how the rest of the industry responded to this loss. Dej Loaf also paid tribute, showing Poppa's reach extended well beyond the South. When someone respected out of Detroit acknowledges you, that signals national impact. Dej Loaf isn't quick to hand out praise, so her words reflected real respect for Poppa's artistry. Mozzie, another CMG artist and Poppa's label mate, shared his condolences too. This one feels different because Mozzie and Poppa built together on records. They linked up on the Almost Normal Again project and dropped a song called No More. So Mozzie wasn't just saluting a teammate on paper, he was grieving someone he made music with and likely formed a bond with. Mozzie choosing to collaborate with Poppa while already solidified in his own career shows the level of respect he had for Poppa's talent. When artists lock themselves in the studio, they see each other's hunger and work ethic up close. Mozzie clearly saw that spark in Poppa and decided to run it back more than once. Nardo Wick, another Jacksonville representative, also honored him. That moment shows how the city stood together in grief despite any past competition, because tragedy has a way of uniting Jacksonville artists. Both Nardo Wick and Lil Poppa were young stars chasing greatness from the same city, and Nardo probably saw pieces of his own path in Poppa. Trap Beckham, also repping Jacksonville, called Poppa a Duval legend and said the city will never feel the same. That statement alone shows how massive the void really is. When multiple artists from one city label someone a legend, that impact is undeniable. The fact that artists from different regions and backgrounds all spoke up proves the level of respect Lil Poppa commanded across the culture. This wasn't just local noise, this was the entire hip-hop community acknowledging the loss of authentic talent. What really stands out is how sincere these reactions felt. These weren't copy and paste tributes for engagement. They were genuine words from people who valued Lil Poppa as both a man and an artist.
The culture truly lost one, fam. Lil Poppa separated himself from many of his peers. He carried a melodic tone that could touch your soul while still maintaining that street foundation. He navigated Jacksonville's dangerous environment, used music as his exit, secured a major label deal, and was positioned for a huge breakout. What made him different was his ability to show vulnerability while keeping his toughness intact. He spoke on pain, depression, and inner battles without ever sounding fragile. That's rare in a space where emotion is often misunderstood as weakness. His Under Investigation mixtape series showed clear evolution in both craft and character. Each installment felt sharper, more intentional, and emotionally deeper. You could actually hear the growth from project to project, which is why so many were excited about where he was headed. The fact that Yo Gotti brought him on to CMG says a lot about how the industry viewed his potential. Gotti doesn't gamble on just anybody. He looks for talent, discipline, and star quality. Lil Poppa checked all those boxes and more. More importantly, this entire situation is a reminder to check on your people. Mental health is no joke, fam. Depression is real, and sometimes the ones who look the strongest are fighting the hardest unseen battles. If someone you know seems off, reach out, send that text, make that call, pull up if you can. Don't hesitate. A simple "Are you good?" can change everything. Lil Poppa's passing proves that money, fame, and success don't automatically heal internal pain. On paper, he was winning, but internally, he was struggling. We have to step up as a community and pay attention to the signs while supporting one another. The warning signs were there in his captions, his lyrics, and even his behavior. But some people mask pain so well that even those closest to them miss it. That's why safe spaces for honest conversations are critical. Hip-hop has long celebrated being tough, suppressing feelings, and handling everything alone. But that mindset is costing us talented young kings and queens. We need to normalize therapy, open dialogue, and asking for help without shame. Lil Poppa's story should serve as a serious wake-up call for the culture. We cannot keep losing young, gifted artists to mental health struggles, overdoses, or self-harm. Real support systems matter just as much as record contracts. The industry itself has responsibility here. Labels should invest in mental health resources instead of only monetizing trauma. Artists deserve structured support, not just studio access and paperwork. Rest in peace, Lil Poppa, a Jacksonville legend taken far too soon. His music lives on, and his journey should push others to seek help instead of suffering quietly. And while we're talking about checking on your circle, make sure you subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss conversations like this. Click the video on screen to dive deeper into Jacksonville's hip-hop culture and how the city is processing this loss. Until next time, fam, stay strong and always check in on one another.